These two functions are used for dynamic memory allocation. Now, what is dynamic memory allocation and how it is different from the usual or conventional memory allocation that is of static kind, or memory allocation, uh, fixed memory allocation, you can say, that cannot be changed as per the requirement. Dynamic memory allocation is called dynamic because the size of the memory can be changed as per the requirement, right? It can be increased or it can be decreased so that the storage, wherever we are storing our code or wherever we are going to run our code, it is not going to occupy useless memory which will not be of use. So a simple example is that if we are having an array of 10 integers and we are not uh, knowing per character. So that way, if it is an integer array, then it is going to occupy 15 into 4, that is 60 bytes of space. And out of this, we know that only 10 integers are to be stored when we run the program or when it is being used. We get to know that only 10 integers will be required in the program or will be accessed by the program, and so the space for last five integers is going to become useless, right? But still it cannot be used for storing any other data, or it cannot be used for storing the code or for any other purpose. And so to overcome this kind of problem where waste of memory was a big issue, this feature of dynamic memory allocation was introduced, right? So dynamic memory allocation will help to allocate only that much amount of space, storage space, which will be actually required for the amount of data used or accessed by the program. Okay, so that is again dependent upon the number of variables or the number of array elements we are defining and using in any program, right? So here we are having an example where this dynamic memory allocation is used for defining the space for an integer array, and then the integer array is scanned, its value is asked from the user, and then again the same array is printed on the output screen, right? So for allocating the memory in storage, malloc function is there, and then another function used for same purpose is calloc, right? So malloc and calloc both have the same purpose. They are used for allocating memory dynamically, but still there is a small difference between these two functions. Both of them allocate dynamic memory for storage, but there is a thin line between them. Can anybody tell me what is that important difference between these two functions or the way they allocate memory dynamically? What is the main difference between these two functions, malloc and calloc?
Ma'am, malloc allocates a single block of storage, and calloc allocates multiple block of storage.
So what is meant by this? Single block of storage and multiple blocks of storage. What does this mean?
And calloc is used to allocate memory to an array like structure and such type of array.
And okay, malloc or calloc is used for this structure and all? Calloc. कौन सा फंक्शन है ये स्ट्रक्चर्स जैसे स्टोरेज के लिए?
Malloc.
Malloc. Okay, and so calloc is for
Calloc is used to allocate memory to an array.
to an array. ये ऐसा ऐसा डिस्टिंक्शन क्यों है? Calloc cannot be used for allocating memory for structures, or malloc cannot be used for allocating memory for arrays. Others can also think of giving the answer. Just try to think what he said as the first statement. Difference between malloc and calloc is that malloc allocates a single block of memory or space for storing all the array elements or all the data, and calloc will allocate different blocks of memory spaces for allocating memory of same data, right? Whether if say for example in this case we are having an integer array, so it depends upon this value of n how many elements we are having, right? And then from this argument we get that the size of the array is going to be n multiplied by the size of integer data type, right? That is n into 4 bytes. So ultimately how many elements are going to be there in the array? N elements. Okay, so what malloc will do to store these n elements, it is going to allocate a single block of memory to store all these n elements, while calloc is going to allocate different blocks for these array elements. What is the meaning of this? Yeah, I'll navigate to one web page. Stop sharing the lab manual for now, and let me share one tab. Okay, have you all visited this Geeks for Geeks before?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? It's a very useful site, and particularly for this programming in C. Okay, so here it is shown that this is the array 40, 45, 63, 17. These are the array elements and these are the index values for the array elements or the whole array, right? So by using the function malloc, what happens? A single large block of memory with specified size is allocated dynamically when malloc function is used, right? So this is the syntax of using the malloc function. A pointer variable is assigned a value of cast type and malloc and byte size, that is n into the size of integer. For example, if it is an integer variable, so you can see the example is also given similar to the one that we have. Instead of 100 we are having n, where n will be specified by the user. So since the size of the integer is 4 bytes, this statement is going to allocate 400 bytes of memory. Pointer ptr will hold the address of the first byte in the allocated memory, right? See, this is how the allocation, memory allocation will take place. If n is equal to 5, then total 20 bytes of memory. So this whole space of 20 bytes will be treated as one single block, right? When malloc function is used. And if the space is insufficient, allocation fails and returns a null pointer, right? So whether or not memory has been allocated correctly as per the requirement, right? Then the function will not return a null pointer, right? So using this condition, whether the function is returning a null pointer, we can check whether memory allocation has been successful or not. Okay, so we'll go into one example. Very easy to understand example is given, and it is almost similar to what is given in the lab manual also. So here the value of n is already defined, while in our lab manual the sample program has got the n scanned from the user, right? So user has to provide the value of n, and here it is directly given when the program is to be compiled. So one pointer variable is taken of integer type, and then we have two different variables n and I. I is for iteration, n is the number of elements. So you can see over here the same function is also used in our sample program. Now to check if the memory has been allocated correctly or not, right? These are the statements. The if statement, a conditional statement is used if the pointer variable points to null or has got the value null at the location, then the memory is not allocated, right? Because sufficient memory is not there. So memory is not allocated is a message printed on the output screen. And if the memory is allocated, sufficient memory is allocated successfully, then pointer is not going to return the value null, right? So else memory has been successfully allocated using malloc. And if memory is available, sufficient memory is available, what is to be done? The pointer, the array elements are to be put in the array, and then the array is to be printed. So PTR of I is equal to I plus 1. So the index values which start from 0, they are incremented by 1 and those values are assigned to the array itself, array elements. So PTR of 0 will be 1, PTR of 1 will be 2 up to 5 because n is equal to 5. So you can see over here, this is for assigning the values to each element of the pointer, each element of the array, integer array, and then those values are printed, right? In the sample program, what we are doing is we are scanning these values from the user. We are asking the user to give the values instead of directly taking the 5 values 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We are scanning the values from the user at the runtime. So finally the values get printed. So you can see over here the number of elements is 5. You can see n is 5. So that statement is printed. After that, the pointer variable does not return null value, and that is why else statement is executed, memory successfully allocated using malloc, and finally the elements of the array are printed, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you can see after percentage d there is a comma, and that is why 1 comma and then space appears while all the array elements are printed, right? So that is the use of malloc. It will allocate 20 bytes of memory altogether. So one complete block of size 20 bytes will be allocated in this case. Now we have calloc, which is called contiguous allocation. It is used to dynamically allocate the specified number of blocks of memory of the specified type, and it initializes each block by a value 0. Right. So how allocation takes place in this? This is the standard format of calloc. Just the difference is instead of malloc you write calloc. Right. But main differences in the memory allocation you can see over here. Blocks of memory have been specified. Total 20 bytes of memory is allocated, but each block of 4 bytes is formed. So in total 5 different blocks are formed, and each block is initialized with a value of 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and 3. So total 4 bytes will be there. Again, the another block of 4 bytes will start with 0, right? So that is how memory is allocated in case of the calloc function, when we use the calloc function, right? And in both the cases, when malloc is used or calloc is used, whenever we free this memory using the free function, whole of this block, whether it is a group of blocks, total memory is a group of blocks like this, 5 blocks, or it is the single block of memory spaces as in malloc, whole of the block will be freed. Okay, so that is calloc function. Again in this we can test using the null pointer that whether sufficient amount of memory is available for storage of the elements, array elements or not. So you can see over here whole program is almost same except this statement where malloc is replaced with calloc, right? Again, it is tested using the if statement whether sufficient memory is there or not. So if pointer is returning null value, then no memory is allocated, and if it does not return the null value, then there is sufficient memory available, and so it will be allocated using calloc. Rest all the statements are same for assigning the values to the pointer the array elements, and then printing the array elements, right? So that is about malloc and calloc. And then another function under this feature is the free function is used for making free the allocated memory when it becomes useless, when you for no more require the data that is stored at that space. It is similar to deleting the data, a variable or group of variables from the memory space. So the memory space can be reutilized for some other function, for other purpose. So for deallocation of the used memory, free function is used. So memory allocated using malloc and calloc function is not deallocated on their own. That means they are not freed on their own. So free function is used whenever dynamic memory allocation takes place, right? So this helps to reduce the memory wastage. So you can see over here, the calloc function will allocate 5 blocks of memory, each of 4 bytes, right? And then when we write a statement using the free function, that free PTR means the pointer variable used for representing the array, right? So free PTR, when we write, it is going to free or deallocate whole of this 5 blocks of space. So that can also be tested. You can see over here, 2 pointer variables are taken in this case, PTR and PTR1. So, and then we are having 2 integer variables, single variables, n and I, where n is 5, which is going to represent the number of array elements, and PTR pointer is used for allocating the memory for the integer array of size n. Okay, so using this malloc function, using this statement, memory will be allocated for the integer array. Okay, and then we are having PTR1, another pointer variable, which is used for allocating memory using calloc function. So here, as n is equal to 5, 5 different blocks of memory space will be allocated for the integer array. Okay, so this is allocating 20 bytes of memory. This is also allocating 20 bytes of memory, but in chunks of 4 bytes each, or 5 blocks of 4 bytes each. And then using the if statement, it is checked whether the memory has been successfully allocated or not using this malloc and calloc function. So for that, what condition we are using? ptr equal to null, that is the first pointer variable. And for this malloc has been used for memory allocation. So if pointer is returning null or pointer 1 is returning null, then memory is not allocated. Any one is not allocated sufficient memory, then this statement will be printed. Otherwise, this will be printed that memory successfully allocated using malloc or calloc, you can say, right? Not only malloc, because we are testing both the pointer variables, right? ptr and ptr1. For both the arrays, we are allocating memory. Okay, so now when memory has been successfully allocated, obviously this printf function is going to get executed, and so on the output screen, memory successfully allocated using malloc will be written. Okay, will be printed. After that, what we are doing, we are not interested in assigning these values to the array and printing them. We have just allocated memory for the array elements, and if successful allocation of memory is done, then this statement will get executed. Okay, so for now we can take, or we can suppose that successful allocation of memory has taken place, and so this statement will, this sentence will be printed on the output screen. Now what we are doing, we are freeing that memory, we are deallocating that memory, right? So free ptr printf malloc memory successfully freed. Printf memory successfully allocated using calloc. Then free ptr1, because we have freed only the memory allocated by the malloc function. ptr को free किया, that means memory allocated by the ptr memory allocated by malloc function will be freed, right? Because that was assigned to ptr. To ptr1, memory was allocated by calloc function, right? So that is why this statement is printed. Okay, then free ptr1, so calloc से जो भी memory allocate हुआ है उसको भी free कर रहे हैं. So then the calloc memory will be successfully freed. So that statement we are printing. So when we run this program, you can see that total number of elements in the array is 5. N is equal to 5, that's why. And after that, memory has been allocated by the malloc function, and then it is tested. malloc and calloc दोनों use करके ptr and ptr1 को memory allocate, dynamic memory allocate किया है. After that, we have tested whether ptr is returning null or ptr1 is returning null. None of them is returning null. That's why the first statement, that is memory successfully allocated using malloc, right, that is printed. And after that, we are freeing the memory allocated for the ptr variable, and that is why it is said that malloc memory is successfully freed. Okay, that statement is printed. After that, we are freeing the calloc memory, that is ptr1. Free ptr1 function is used, and then this printf statement will get executed, that is calloc memory successfully freed, right? So that is how the free function works. It will deallocate all the dynamically allocated memory when the function is used upon the pointer variable, which is pointing to the first address of the allocated memory, right? The pointer variable. And then we have the function realloc. Realloc function is used for reallocating the already allocated memory. Right? Any change is to be done to the already allocated memory. Realloc function is used. So realloc function or reallocation method is used to dynamically change the memory allocation of previously allocated memory. If the previously allocated memory if the memory previously allocated with the help of malloc or calloc is insufficient, realloc can be used to dynamically reallocate memory. It maintains the present value and new blocks will be initialized with the default garbage value. Right. So it is used for making changes to an already dynamically allocated memory. Okay. You can see over here, this is an example given. Initially, the size of array was specified equal to 5 and now the array size has been increased. And we get to know that more number of array elements are there. And so the size of the array needs to be increased. More amount of space will be required for that. And for that, instead of using again the malloc function and allocating it in another pointer variable, right? ptr से जो array असाइन हुआ है या डिक्लेयर किया है using the pointer variable, right? Its size is specified by the malloc function, right? Now if we want to add more memory to the same variable, only realloc can be used. malloc यूज करके अगर फिर से मेमोरी ऐड करना है then that will be treated as another array because there will be requirement of another pointer variable. Using the same pointer variable it cannot be done, right? So realloc is a function which will allocate the additional size of memory or additional space for the extra requirement, right? So you can see over here the block size has been increased by 20 bytes further and the count also starts from the same pointer address, the last pointer address. Okay, so that is how realloc function works. So int star ptr is the pointer variable for the array. Int n and I, again two integer variables are there. N is equal to 5. So enter the number of elements, that is going to print enter number of elements equal to 5, right? Then using calloc function, memory has been allocated. So total 20 bytes will be allocated by this calloc function and it will be in form of 5 blocks of 4 bytes each. After that, it is checked whether the memory is allocated or not. If it is successfully allocated, then the array elements are assigned and then the array elements are printed. Now the size of n is changed to 10. That is the new size of the array. Then realloc function is used for adding the additional number of blocks, memory blocks, right? So ptr equal to realloc. The syntax is same, except over here you don't have to specify the cast type. You can see over here. Here the cast type integer star is required in malloc and calloc functions. In case of realloc function, that is not required because we are allocating memory to an already created array, right? So this will allocate more number of space, that is n will be now equal to 10. So additional space of 5 blocks, each of 4 bytes will be allocated, and then one more statement is printed, that is memory successfully reallocated. And after that, initially we assigned the first 5 elements of the array to the pointer variable ptr of I. So ptr of 4, up to ptr of 4, the values are already there, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So from 5 onwards, ptr of 5 onwards, we have to assign the next 5 values or additional 5 values, and so those values are starting from 5, right? That's why I is initialized with 5. So ptr I क्या है अभी अपना 5. So ptr of 5 is equal to 6, and so up to ptr of 9 we will have the array elements. The last array element will be having value equal to 10. Okay, so these values are then again printed from I is equal to 0 to I is equal to 9, because n is equal to 10, right? So those 10 values are printed, and then finally we are freeing that space. We are deallocating the memory. You can see over here. Now, once we have reallocated the memory, free PTR we have written. Again, if we use this condition to check whether the pointer returns the null value or not, it will obviously return null value, right? So that will execute this statement because the memory has been um, deallocated using this free function, right? So no space has been reserved or occupied by this pointer or the array, right, in the memory. So you can see over here the 10 array elements are printed, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So is this clear to everyone? All the 4 functions, how they are used or why they are used? Everybody is clear?
Yes.
So let's go to the lab manual. What we have there. Okay. So we have over here the n value scanned. So we are scanning n, and then again we are printing the value of n. Total how many elements are there? So let's say n is equal to 5. That much amount of memory has to be allocated, right? So if this is null, right? The not operator is used over here. That means if this is 0, no memory has been allocated. And if this is not 0, then memory has been successfully allocated by the function malloc, right? It simply means this. So this is the if statement which can check whether memory has been successfully allocated by malloc function or not. अदरवाइज अभी हमने जो गीक्स फॉर गीक्स में देखा वैसे भी इफ एल्स स्टेटमेंट हम लिख सकते हैं इफ पीटीआर और इन दिस केस इट इज एर ARR, right? If this ARR is equal to null, right, then it means that no memory has been allocated by the malloc function. Okay, so this if statement is just for that purpose to check whether correct memory has been allocated. Once memory has been allocated correctly, next thing is to print the array elements. So for printing the array elements, first these elements are scanned, and after that again the elements are printed, right? ARR of I, and after that the array space is freed, right? So the program is for the same purpose, for assigning or allocating memory for n number of elements dynamically using malloc function, scanning the values of these array elements and printing them, right? What modification is to be done? You have to modify the program using calloc, so nothing is going to change except the word calloc over here. और कुछ चेंज होगा?
यस मैम, 2 आर्गुमेंट्स देंगे ना.
Where the second argument will be there.
मैम calloc में 2 आर्गुमेंट आते हैं, n और size of int.
हाँ, instead of multiplication n multiplied by size of phi nt, it will be n comma size of phi nt, right?
Yes ma'am.
So that is only in this statement the change is going to be there. Other than that, will there be any change? और कहीं पे करना पड़ेगा?
No ma'am.
Right, there won't be any other change in the whole program, right? And after that, you just have to, when you run this program using the calloc function, again, you will not be able to identify a visible difference in the results, right? You are not going to encounter any visible difference in the results, because finally result में क्या दिखने वाला है? Only this statements, how many elements, that is n. These things have got no effect of the malloc function or calloc function. These things are not going to change anyhow by any other function. Same way, printf enter the elements and scanf, all these functions will be not affected by the calloc function or the malloc function, right? Malloc and calloc are just used for allocating the memory, and once this successful allocation takes place, 5 elements will be scanned, and those 5 elements will be printed on the output screen, right? So the point of difference, as we discussed, you can write for both these functions, malloc and calloc. So, and next thing is modify this new program using calloc to allocate memory dynamically for a matrix 2D array. Okay, that you can do. कैसे करेंगे? Here the allocation has been done for single dimensional array. You using calloc function, you have to allocate memory for 2D array. How that will be done?
मैम ARRIN हो जाएगा.
ARR, or you can use PTR also, that is okay.
Yes मैम, पॉइंटर यूज करते हैं.
हाँ, कैसे अपने असाइन करेंगे मेमोरी टू द पॉइंटर वेरिएबल? PTR is equal to int star calloc. What will write in the argument after calloc? What will be writing over here for the 2D array?
n comma size of जो हमने पॉइंटर डिक्लेयर किया है उसका नाम.
Size of PTR.
यस मैम.
Okay. So how will you then assign the values? Can the values? Okay, what will be n in our case? 2D array हमको बनाना है. 2D array let's say 3 cross 3 matrix बनाना है. ठीक है? So what will be n in our case? Malloc से कैसे करेंगे ये कोई बता सकता है? This is an already written program for 1D array. If I want to scan a two-dimensional array and want to print that array using malloc function, how it will be done? ये स्टेटमेंट में क्या चेंज करना पड़ेगा अपने को?
मैम
हाँ बोलो यशवी.
we can replace n by row and column.
You will replace n with row and column.
Yes.
Okay. So it will be 3.
Yes. 3 into 3.
Okay. So n row is also to be specified and column is also to be specified. So here what I'll write is ARR equal to int star malloc R into C, or say if I and J are used for this row and column, so I into J into size of integer, right?
Yes.
ऐसा होगा.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. ऑल ऑफ यू ट्राई दिस प्रोग्राम का वन malloc फंक्शन यूज करके अपने को क्या करना है, एक 2D एरे असाइन करना है. यू कैन गो फॉर 2x2 एरे. ओके, 3x3 को छोड़ो, 2x2 करके फटाफट से प्रोग्राम बनाओ. इसमें जस्ट ये जो स्कैनफ फंक्शन है और प्रिंटफ फंक्शन है उसमें थोड़ा माइनर चेंज आएगा. यू विल हैव टू यूज 2 for loops, right, for row and column. I think that is the only biggest change. बाकी इसमें ज्यादा change करना है नहीं. Quickly all of you write that program using malloc. Hope you all can see this screen. So this is again from Geeks to Geeks, Geeks for Geeks, sorry. And this is how you can allocate memory for 2D array, R into C into the size of the data type. Right, this is the program that you can write. And lastly, in this lab, you are having one exercise where you are to store the student name, roll number, and marks of 3 subjects at runtime and display the whole database according to their merit. So ultimately, you have to prepare one structure. So using either malloc or calloc, you can write this. So I think you will be able to do this exercise. हो जाएगा? Exercise में एक ही program है.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So let me stop this. Yes, you have this single exercise. And try out a few more structures also for practice purpose, so that you will get more acquainted to using these functions, malloc, calloc. Also try using realloc in this in this sample program. Okay. Okay, so we are keeping up to this. Next time in our regular lab session, we'll go for the next lab. And I think that will be the last lab or what? Next week, last week है ना teaching phase का?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so then we will be left with how many? 9, 10, 11 भी है क्या? अभी क्या चल रहा है लेक्चर में? ये वीक में क्या हुआ? लिंक लिस्ट खत्म हो गया?
Yes.
Okay, and then the next topic is started or not yet?
Graphics चला है, C graphics.
Okay,
Yes,
चलो
ma'am.
किया, ठीक है. And macros preprocessor बाकी है?
बाकी.
Okay, and then C graphics. Okay, fine. चलो ठीक है, तो mostly in the next lab we'll go for this C graphics and this link list. जो macros है उसमें actually इतना tough कुछ भी नहीं है. The preprocessor directives you already used previously. Has define use किया है सबने आगे previous programs में exercises में. Any variable or any value, if you want to keep it unchanged throughout the program, right, you can use this has defined directive, and there are also other preprocessor directives. So use of those directives, right, that is under this topic. Okay, so we'll keep up to this. I'll take the attendance and then you can leave the meeting.